Yo, what is up, everybody? I'm Jay with DCA Adventure, back again with your Sunday sermon cryptocurrency market update. If you guys love our content, please like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. This is not financial advice. Trading of any kind is very risky, so trade at your own risk, do your own research. You guys know the spiel. We have a special guest today, GridBot Guru. So we'll be having an interview with him, and if we have time, maybe we'll chart some Bitcoin or something after the interview. But we are trading on Phemex, Pionex, and Bybit, so links for that will be in the description. If you guys want access to the DCA trading tool, you need to join the Patreon group, join my tier, Trading with a View, and by doing so, you guys get access to the trading tools. You get the private channels inside the Discord where we have manual bot signals, trading signals, and then the Astro Park trading bots spitting out trades all day long when I'm not. So get over there, join the Patreon group. Is the sound okay? Can you guys hear me? Making sure the sound is good. I know last week I had to change everything because my sound was awful. Every time I change back and forth, it won't pick up. What up, Oz? Sound good? Oz, can you hear us, buddy? It should be good, I'd imagine there. So what is up, GridBot? How are you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
I'm good, man. Good. We've been working on trying to get a date locked in for a while now, and
yes,
finally we did it.
Yes. And can everybody hear him okay? Is my audio picking him up correctly? Oz says it's out freaking standing. Mikkel says FA. Okay, so we must be good. We must be good.
Cool.
So I've seen you in the Pionex Discord, and realize that you definitely are knowledgeable about the grid bots and all that good stuff. And so how long have you been trading on Pionex, and what's your favorite bot? What is it that you is your favorite to set up?
So I've been about probably 2+ years with them. And my favorite bot, I don't really know. My go-to is just a standard grid bot. That's my go-to. I one of my buddies in one of my discords, it's on one of my videos. It's called Trading with the OG. He combined a trailing buy with a grid bot. That's a really cool concept. So that's something that I've been working into a lot of my stuff recently. But for the most part, yeah, just standard grid bot.
Awesome. Definitely interested in how to set up the trailing buy. I know a lot of the guys in our Patreon and in the Discord, they have made accounts on Pionex. They're starting to trade the bots a little bit. And for myself, it is easy to do a grid bot, in my opinion. I think it's the best one they have. A lot of the other ones are, I'd say the user interface is easy. I think it's just there's a lot of bots on there, and to me, there's some that are probably doing the same thing as the others. They just have a different name, and so there can be a lot of confusion and stuff like that when you have a million different options. But I've had really good luck with the grid bot. I did one today with Cardano, and it's been doing pretty well. But I've seen lots of guys doing big things with the bots, so it's definitely interesting. And I'm sure in 2.5 years you've seen a lot of changes, and for the good or for the bad.
I've seen some changes. I've also learned a lot. Like, with everything else, you lose some and then you start winning, and so that's kind of where you pick up your, we could do this.
Right.
I could have done it like this, and so you keep learning from your mistakes, honestly. But yeah, I feel like I got a pretty good handle on them.
That's awesome. So what assets are you interested in the most as far as putting bots on? Do you just go through and look for setups, or do you
Well, right now everything's pegged to Bitcoin. You know, right now you're just watching to see what it does. But honestly, I got a little, like, this account I have with or the account that I will show tonight, I have a bunch of XRP I'm just holding. I keep doing, I got a kind of an idea where I want to maybe start a reverse grid on, but I'm holding it. I've done a lot of trailing buys on it recently, and so I'm just waiting for this lawsuit to come and hopefully blast off. Yeah. So
I hear you. What's up, Canes? Oz, we got Shane P, Unknown Crypto, Mikkel, got all kinds of people in the chat. There's GridBot Guru.
Heyo.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can go ahead and share your screen and we can go over the UI of Pionex. I have not done an official Pionex video yet. I've been, digging and getting information and learning how to use it. And before I actually went out and made a video, showing anybody anything. And my biggest concern were the leverage tokens that we had talked about earlier and how it was weird to read them charts. But once it hit me and I had that aha, this is how it works, then it's pretty simple. But yeah, go ahead and share your screen and we can get this going. Show everybody kind of like the user interface a little bit if you want, and then show them how you set up a bot if you want to, and how you do a manual trade.
All right, so let's see. Let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yep, I think it is not quite yet. They should be seeing it here in a second. I do believe.
There we go.
Okay.
Another thing is, so I got my other PC right here, my laptop. If you guys got a specific question, put it in that chat. I'll be watching both of them. So here's where you're gonna start. Basically, this is your go-to page. Come up to trade, find what token you want or what pair. Starting off, I was always about the leverage tokens. So you're going to see some tokens are going to be like I always get confused if it's a 3L or an L3. Okay, so like a 1S, 3S. Those are going to be the leverage tokens. And those are the ones that I was always like, oh yeah, man, those are moving. And those are the ones, if you go to the market and you go over here and you're like 24-hour change. Oh,
what the what the hell?
Yeah.
What the hell?
So you're seeing these and it's like, yeah, that's what I want. You don't want those. You don't want those starting off. So, and I'll get into those here in a bit. If I go back, so you're going to have just your normal screen. There's a couple different little indicators you can expand your chart over here. Everybody loves whenever I do this. Everybody loves the light mode. Everybody loves it. And that's what I always use on my charts. But that's your bot detail page. Here's your chat.
How has support been with Pionex? Is it good, bad, mediocre, typical crypto customer support?
My gut is that they have exploded and they are having trouble keeping up. That's kind of my gut. They actually ended up reaching out to me and Coffee and Crypto a couple weeks ago. I was throwing out the idea of like, hey, let me try to help you guys in the US. And so I think we're going to start, like, they reached out to us about trying to start something here in the States to try to help out with some of this stuff.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So I think support's doing well. Telegram is the way to go if you're going to need support. I personally hate Telegram. That's just me.
Me too.
I'm kind of on the Discord side of things, but I can flip back and forth a little bit. But with trading, so these are going to be all your bots right here. And I am not 100% sure about new users. Like, so if you signed up after June 1st, I don't think you will have a leverage grid or a margin grid, or a leverage reverse, or a reverse. Is a reverse margin on here? No. So I don't think you have those three, but I'm not 100% sure. I know they've changed a few things. I think there were too many people who weren't really understanding what they were doing, and
got
they were
wrecked.
getting into that. Yep. So I think, like, you would be, well, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't be surprised how many people get on and they're like, hey, Bitcoin's at 65, and I just put a long in. I put a long at 20 times 25. Okay, well, how much of your account did you risk?
The house.
I threw it all in there. Like,
The house.
all right. So yeah, even the kitchen sink, they're throwing it all, like everything.
Oh yeah.
And which we've all been there at one point. We're like, yeah, you could do it. And then all of a sudden it's like you wake up, or 2 minutes later you're like, where to go? So anyway, so this is going to be like a grid trading. So if I'm wanting to, we'll do.
Good for them though, if it really was the reason why they did that, not letting new users. They seen too many people got wrecked and they didn't want, if that really is the case, then good on them for doing that. That's pretty kick-ass. Which
the last 6 months, I feel like they've done some stuff like that. Like, to trade a leverage token, you have to take a little quiz now, because it has potential to have a reverse split. And so, I mean, it can just really, really mess you up if you're like, oh, I'm going to hold this for 2 years. No,
and that's what I don't understand. This is the only exchange I've ever been on that does a reverse split. So if you are able to enlighten us when we get down to that part, that'd be awesome, because I don't understand. I mean, I know how it works in the traditional stock market, but I don't understand. Is it more of a rebalancing the order book deal, or is it to try to cover your ass on the leverage side of things, or why does the reverse split mechanism happen? Do you know? Because I cannot get a straight.
So I don't know exactly why it happens. I know when it happens. So, but I don't know 100% why it happens. So
when does it happen?
It will happen whenever a token gets, I think it's either 5 cents or below.
And then, so reverse split would mean, so if you're holding 1,000, you are now only going to be holding 500. So it'd be a 2-to-1 split.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I think it's the math for me is kind of hard. Like, I have to write it out kind of person. But so it's my understanding that you will. Yes, I think you're right. So you would end up. So if you have 1,000 tokens, you'd end up only having 500, but you would still have the same
price,
money amount.
Right, the same dollar value, face value, or whatever.
But the problem is the leverage tokens will usually go down. Like, even the long tokens will usually go down because of the rebalancing of everything. So
if you don't get it out of it right away at that split, you're potentially gonna lose money. It's almost like a warning shot. Hey.
It is. And really, it's a hardcore learning course, because you're looking at it and you're like, well, shoot, these coins are only worth 5 cents. Yeah, I know that it's going to go up, but no, it reverse splits. And so it looks like, and that's why I was trying to find on the market, there's going to be some that just skyrocket, and all these people are like, oh, it jumped up, 500% today in the last 24 hours, but really it was just a reverse split that people are throwing money at, and it's still going down. So,
and you got to be wary of too of like the asset that you have, because just because you're trading Bitcoin and this Bitcoin pairs, Bitcoin's worth 39,000, don't necessarily mean that a Bitcoin 2x long coin will be 39,000, right? It could be worth $5.
Correct.
There's different prices across the board on the assets, so just make sure you guys, if you are trading these leveraged assets or any of the other tokens, make sure that you are trading what you want to be trading and not, you know what I mean, just make sure you're staying frosty, guys. Stay frosty. But go ahead, sorry, keep interrupting.
No, you're good. So so we'll just jump in with Bitcoin. And so I'm going to do, you talked about a daily chart. I'm going to do a daily chart with a Bitcoin. So you can go in here, you can end up, so here's my chart. This is my asset. This is the pair I'm trading. I can click trade, and then I'm going to end up being able to trade all these different bots. So I could DCA. I could, this is for like if you got buku bucks. I'll show you what it looks like. You can buy or you can sell a certain amount every like 1 hour or 6 hours. I think it's very similar to kind of like it takes like a giant order and it will break it up into smaller chunks to kind of try to hide that big whale order if you are that person.
Makes sense.
So yeah, so I'll just do a standard grid. So that it starts you off as your AI strategy. If you look at your price range will be 24,354 to 46. Your profit per grid, so each time it hits a grid, you'll make 0.38% or 0.80%. And I can show you how to kind of change that because I hate those percentages.
I was gonna say, how can we make that to where you're getting like 5% per grid?
Yeah, I can show you how to do that. And then your investment is going to be, that's all I have in my account right now to invest is $1.16, because I got stuff locked up in XRP right now. But if you're good with your TA and you know what you're doing, and you're like realistically, I'm sitting here like, I don't think Bitcoin's ever going to get to 24 really. Like, not anytime soon. I'm going to see a bunch of red flags before then. So you can go set yourself. And then what you can do is you can go ahead and put a lower price in. It's hit 30 a bunch, or around 30, 32. I'm going to say 32,000 is going to be my low for my grid. My upper could be 40. And then I could have anywhere from 2 to 150 grids. And I've been told that they're going to up it to 1,000, I believe, 1,000 grids.
That'd be cool.
It's either 500 or 1,000, but I don't know when that will actually end up happening.
What do you like to be your standard grid size? I usually go for like 20.
So I've been playing with smaller grids, but I also like to get like 0.5% to like 1. So depending on what it is, if it's moving a lot in a range and I know like it's going to stay in that range more than likely, then I'll try to get more transactions. I'll try to get more.
So you'll put more grids
smaller
in there.
Profits. Yeah, but if I know like, I think I went in on, I think it was Vet I went in on, and it was at around 9.5 cents or something like that, maybe 10 cents. So I knew like, okay, here's a good area that's resistance at, and so I did a small amount of grids, but I just let it shoot, and I was hoping that we could catch something and just go with it. So anyway, down here is your grid or your percent per grid. Does that highlight? Can you see me highlight that?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So that tells you how much every grid, so every buy and sell will get you either 1.1% or 0.15%.
So the lower amount of grids,
you,
though, the higher the percentage will go? Or
yes.
I wish
Yeah.
that
So
you could have a feature where you could go in and just physically change the percentage, and then it would tell you how many grids you should have.
So I'm gonna get to that. I got you. So
Yes.
if you say you have 150 grids, it's gonna go 0.03%, 0.06%. But if I go down to 15 grids, then you're looking at 1.34, 1.68%, somewhere around there. So I'm gonna go back to 100 though. If I had Bitcoin, I could go ahead and use that, and I could say how much I want to sell, all that stuff. So down here in the advanced settings, okay, the advanced settings is going to be a trigger price. So I could say my lower price is at 32. Right now it's at 39. I don't want to start this bot right now
Until it hits your 32, right?
Right. So I could go down to a trigger price and say I want a trigger price at 32. It's just going to stay there and just hold. It's going to be idle until it hits 32.
Yep. And once it hits that 32, then it's going to set your bot out and turn it on and say, okay, it's time to grid trade.
Yep. Stop loss. Everybody, I'm hoping everybody here knows what a stop loss is.
They
and your
better.
Take profit is going to be your take profit is going to be the max, probably the max on your grid. Sometimes, you can get to thinking about it. You start seeing something after your bot has already started, and maybe it hit 32 and it's looking really, really, really weak, and you're like, I'm gonna do 34 instead, and you just set it and forget it and walk away. I mean, it's better to leave stuff on the table than lose it all, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So you are wanting a straight percent right here, right? Right here, geometric. You flip that over, it's just going to give you your percentage. So say you wanted 3%, you could say, okay, I want 5 grids. All right, 5, I can do more, so let's do 10. So you're at 2.4 then. So that's too many, so you can do 8, 3.13. So that's going to be your percent per buy and sell. So you can kind of do that, but I understand what you're saying. It's not as easy as just saying, hey, I want 2.5% per grid, and then it tells you how many grids there are.
Hey, maybe that's a good feature you can bring up to him, because that would be awesome to be like, I would like to average, let's just say 5% per trade. And when I'm setting up one of these bots, I'm looking at each grid as as what it is, as a trade, like as I would physically go in and trade this area. So just being able to say 2.5%, 3%, and then it just spits out, okay, well, you need at least X amount of grids, that would be a badass feature to have on there. Because I'm doing what you're doing right now, where I'm 8, 9, nope, go back to 7, you know what I mean? So
the fees, so what is that, Zeke Sal? I think it's like 0.05% or something like that, 0.03%. I'm not 100% sure what the exact fees are on it. It's super low though. It's super low, and I will say that it is tied into a majority is Binance. So you're getting the same volume, the same orders as Binance. It's just if you're stateside, you're legal.
Now, see, I noticed, this was probably 3 or 4 months ago, but when I would go into the market and choose where I wanted to trade, it did have coin market cap on there. Now I see it's gone. Like, I was able to pull up the whole list of coin market cap and trade any single one of them coins off of there. Why'd they take that off?
I have no idea. I don't. Were you talking where you would go trade?
Yeah, like if you hit market right there, it used to have a CMC where you could pull up the coin market cap. Like you got Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, BUSD, HUSD, and then it would have like CMC, and you could hit the CMC and have that whole list. It may have been through like the Bit Universe app or somewhere where I kept seeing it, I may be completely wrong. I could have swore though that you could trade CoinMarketCap.
Yeah, I have no idea on that.
What's up, Ralph? Thanks for stopping by, brother. Appreciate you. Make sure you guys go over to GridBot Guru's YouTube channel, give him a sub and a like. I'd really appreciate that, guys.
This spot futures, I don't know about that one. I don't do that one.
What I do know about it is it's slow and it takes forever to like see really, you know, you're damn near got to run that thing for a year before you're gonna see any of them APYs.
So my understanding of it is you are gaining the short fees. So the funding fees that people have put shorts in for, wherever they may be, you're getting some of those.
So only on shorts, it won't give you any of the long funding fees either?
I don't think so.
Just
I'm not
on
sure.
shorts?
I'm not 100% sure on that. I know that people were really, they were kind of upset. I heard a lot of chatter about them, about people not getting those bots working whenever Bitcoin just dropped, because everybody else was shorting it and getting out. Like they were just, and I don't know if it was they weren't in it long enough to get a funding fee, or like I don't know exactly how it worked.
Right, because in a typical leveraged exchange scenario, funding is going to go right around every 8 hours, and basically what that funding does is it's rebalancing the order book. It's keeping everything balanced, so that way not one group of people is all just going to be short or all are going to be long. It's giving you incentive basically to be short or long. If you're holding like some 8 hours, people holding short positions will get paid a funding fee. It's a percentage based off of your position size. So, you know, and then other times the longs get the funding fee. And I used to trade off of that. If the funding fee was paying longs, that meant to me that there was a lot of people longing. We probably should be looking to take a short sell on the market. And a lot of times that is right in thinking, because eventually the longs will get the rug pull. And same with the shorts. I mean, if short funding fee is happening across exchanges, it's how I traded on BitMEX a lot, was doing the same thing with funding fees. So I understand it, but it's weird. I should probably read into it more to figure out how it's working with this bot. That's just weird. They're paying them with the fees. So
and I may be 100% wrong on that, but that's the vibe I get. But I don't use that one, and so I'm not 100% sure. Leverage grid, you're going to be able to multiply your leverage, so 1.2, 1.5, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x. I am not sure if new, like I said, I don't know if people who just signed up recently still have this option.
Very risky, guys. Very risky.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of risk. You can get liquidated. You can lose it all real quick. And you're also having to pay and daily interest on that too. So there is that as well.
That's if you take the borrowed fund though, right? Because you can, well, if you're adding leverage, so if you put $10 in there and then you leverage 2x, it's gonna give you, 2 times that amount is what you're actually gonna borrow, correct? I'm pretty sure is how that's going.
Correct.
So then you're paying interest. Yeah. Okay, so I got it. So if you go 2x.
Yeah, so if you did like 2x and you'd say like $10, well, I can't do it.
Right, because it's not gonna let you. But yeah, it would. You're gonna owe for the
borrowed amount,
$990 that it's gonna give you.
Correct.
Or if that would be on 10x leverage. I understand it though. Yeah, you'll be paying the interest. I guess that's like Binance does that too. They make you pay daily interest.
The other thing about this is this area right here where it says borrowable funds. This is all the USDT that is out there that people are going to, they're not using it currently. So you could, if you had the wallet for it, you could end up borrowing
all that.
Yeah, what is that?
Looks like 6 million, billion.
That's what I was thinking, 6 million. I didn't want to put my face right up on the camera because I always feel like a big nerd whenever I'm on screen and do that. But yeah, so there's been times whenever, like when Bitcoin was around 54, 55, there was times like that was zero. Like you couldn't borrow anything.
Wow.
And because people were using it, and you could sit there, and then all of a sudden there'd be like $1,000 in it, and you'd have to like jump on it super quick, or it's going to get gone real fast.
That's why doing all these like liquidity pools and stuff like that are a good incentive, especially for something like this. It'd be cool if you could add
I don't
liquidity.
know if you guys, did you just see it change?
Yeah.
It just changed. I don't know what it went. I don't know what the way it changed, but yeah, I mean it is quick on these.
That's crazy.
Things. You have your same advanced settings down here as you do on a normal grid. Margin, I don't think margin is one we can use anymore. But you could lock your BTC and loan.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or if you felt like this way, you lock your USDT to loan BTC. So you'd earn USDT when BTC goes down. And on this one, you'd earn Bitcoin when it goes up. But again, see, here we go. Borrowable funds. Borrowable, that's hard to say. Now we're at 6.18 million. We were at 6.14 a couple seconds ago. But again, you can use leverage on this one. You can go up to 4x on this one. But I don't know if we can use that anymore. I think they took that away. I think they took it away for the new signups.
Which you should be, if you guys are interested in learning leverage trading, you need to be paper trading or doing testnet trading first, and really getting the feel for it, because this is not like spot trading where Bitcoin would almost have to go to zero for you to lose all your money. With leverage or margin, anything of the sort, you can lose everything that you risk in the trade. So you have to know what you are doing. It is very, very important. You can't just willy-nilly go in and do it, or I promise you will lose. I promise you will lose. It is something that takes patience and takes some time. Definitely do testnet.
So for an example, I'm sitting here looking at Bitcoin. It's at 39. I could do, okay, so it's going to go up. I got I don't know which EMA that is. One of them's getting ready to cross.
Looks like the 50 and 21 to me, but I could be wrong.
I don't know which ones I have on this. I don't really use EMAs too much. However, somebody starting out brand new is like, oh, they're going to cross. It's going to go up. MACD, it's low, it's going up. I'm going to set my grid at 37,000, and I'm going to set my upper price at 50,000, and I'm going to go all in at 5x. And if you do that and you go all in, say you went all in with like $3,000 or 20,000, down here it's going to give you a price, and if that price gets hit, you're going to lose it all. You will lose it all. And the higher the leverage, the closer that price will end up being.
Yep. Smaller of the cushion, guys. So if you're using 10x leverage, you're going to have an even smaller cushion to your liquidation. Like when I leverage trade, only because I know how to leverage trade, I've been doing it for quite a while, I'm using between 25 and 35x on a lot of my trades. Do I recommend that to most people? Absolutely not. When we're trading Bitcoin, it is better to stay 10x and under. Shit coins, 3 to 5x only. I do not recommend going over 5x with any shitcoin. They move way too quick and it's way too volatile. You will get wrecked. 2x, like 2.5x is perfect for shitcoins, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's right,
So,
Oz. Use your rules and know when to sit on your hands. That's right, buddy.
Yeah. The trades will come and go. There'll be another. It's like a bus.
That's
You
right.
can catch another bus.
That's right.
Reverse grid. This is one I'm not 100% sure on. So we were talking about this earlier. I think it basically does the same thing as a grid. I think. I've been told, however, that a reverse grid, you're going to want to try to accumulate a coin. So I'm thinking that I could go up here and I could put 40 as my high and 30 as my low, and then my trigger price could be 40, we'll say. And my stop loss, I could keep moving it down, and I think if it hits a stop loss, it'll take all your investment and buy that coin.
So now for this reverse grid, do you have to be holding said asset before you can actually start the bot? It's not just going to go to 40 and then buy for you? Like, I don't know, that could be a misunderstanding. I thought you may have to hold the asset so that way when it hits your upper limit, it's going to sell. And then when we dip back down, it's going to start buying for you again. I could be completely wrong in that.
I think you can go ahead and just use my USDT. So I think you have a choice of how you want to run it.
Okay.
But I'm thinking that you can end up just using whatever, if you have, like, whatever you're trading with, whatever your pair is. I'm pretty sure. I have not used it a whole lot, so I'm not 100% sure on that one either.
Right.
We'll get down to who was Zeke Sal was talking about
I think it was Smart Trade. I thought that's what he said.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. They were wanting to know about Smart Trade. Infinity grids. That's not going to have a top, so you don't have a limit on the top. I don't know how to explain it. It keeps a certain amount of coins in your possession. So
it's actually almost maybe DCAing into a position?
Not really. So, for example, say you have, I don't know what ADA is at right now. We'll say it's at $2. So, you have ADA at $2. Your low grid maybe 150, and you have 20 coins. It's going to put grids up, and it will sell
as it hits each grid, and then
it will always keep a certain amount of coins in your possession. It's always going to keep that in your possession. So it's going to rebalance and sell to keep a certain amount in your possession. I don't exactly know how it works. The best way I can honestly explain it is it's like a grid, but you can't release the profits, and the profits go to buy more coins, and they stick more grids on up at the top. That's kind of the way that my mind works with it. But they've said, the officials have said, like, that's not really how it works. But I mean, that makes sense to me, because people will say, oh, does it reinvest? It doesn't really reinvest, but it kind of does, but it kind of doesn't. So
right,
that's kind of where those are.
What is the release profit, and why would you use it? What does that function do? Because I've seen it on all of the bots that I've done, and I've never really released any of the profit. Do you just release it to reinvest back into the bot, or how does that work? Is that funds it's not using?
You can use, like, I've heard of people using it like have a mother bot. So like having, maybe they got in on Bitcoin at like 12,000 when it was just right stuck, and they have they put a astronomical top to it. Maybe they put 100,000 on it. So it's hitting all these grids this whole time. It's making profit, but we haven't left this range. So what they can do is they can go in and they can hit release profit, get all those profits, and then they could start another bot if they want.
Gotcha.
But it's not going to actually reinvest it into that bot.
Gotcha.
Go ahead. You're getting ready to say something, I think.
Oh no, my phone went off. I actually just got an email from your order from dogeword.com has been shipped. Which we will run that promo at the end of the stream. I know I forgot to run it, but good deal.
So somebody was asking about a smart trade. So let me run through this because this one's pretty cool. If you guys have ever traded stocks, it's very similar to like an OTA. One triggers another. So you can do like a limit buy, a limit sell. So on this one, so we'll say, all right, I only want to buy Bitcoin if it hits 38,000, we'll say. And, you put your quantity, I'm a whale, so I'm going to put 10 Bitcoin there. And then you can either do one of two things. You put a stop loss, or and you can just leave it at 0 if you don't want it to use it. Or you can say, I want to do a take profit at a plus 10. So when you create that, it's going to just hold until it hits 38. So this is going to be kind of like your trigger price. It hits 38, it immediately puts that take profit in at a 10% profit. Or you can do a trailing take profit. So it's immediately going to put that in whenever you end up. So there's some exchanges that have, like, you have to wait for your I know we have all been sleeping, and in the middle of the night your trading view gets that alert and you're like, oh, and it hit your price and you got to get your take profit set up or whatever. This actually kind of does it all for you in the same trade.
Right. So you're basically setting up for how you should be setting up your trades manually anyway. This is just going to do it all for you. You can
Correct.
punch in your take profit, your stop loss, your entry, all that all in one go. Now, like 3 commas, if you've ever used it, it has a smart trade function just like this. And obviously 3 commas is that's pretty expensive to use. And I
use Zingli.
What is
Zingli?
Zingli? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've used that and I liked it. But yeah, it's I don't dabble with the smart trade too much, but I mean it is there. So I'm thinking probably everybody here knows what a trailing sell is. So I'm gonna run through that one fairly quickly. You got a trigger price, you got a trailing percent, and then you got a quantity. So once it hits that trigger price, so say you have 5 Bitcoin and you want it to sell once it hits 40,000. So you put that trigger price in, and then you can put, like, if you put a trailing percent of 10%, that means that once it hits 40,000, you'll at least get 36,000 for it, because that'll be 10% of that 40,000. Now, if it goes to 41,000, that stop loss, it's a stop loss, but it's going to be increased a little bit. So whatever the highest price that this hits, that once that trigger hits, then this bot is in play. And so as it goes up, that trailing percent will continue to go up with it. It can come back down, but then it can keep going up as it goes. I like this one.
Maximizing your losses.
Yes.
Or minimizing your losses, I meant to say. Minimizing your losses.
Minimizing. And also minimizing the money you have on the table. So if if you're holding Bitcoin from 30, you're like, you know what, when it hits 40, whatever happens, happens. You put a 5% or a 10% trailing stop loss on there, basically. And if it gets up to 50,000, then it'll drop back to 40 or 45. Then that would be your when it sells. So now the same thing happens with a trailing buy. You can do the same thing. So I could say, you know, I want to start a trailing buy at 34,000.
So then 10% of 34,000, whatever that price is, that's where it's going to actually start to buy, right?
Yeah.
Or 10% below 34,000.
So what ends up, well, it's the exact opposite actually. So it's kind of weird to think about. So the trigger, we'll do 30,000. It'll be easier with that. So I'll say 30,000 is what I want my trigger to be. So if I do a 10%, that means it'll be at least 33,000 is where it will buy. But if it keeps going down, if it goes down to 20,000, that means I'll at least buy at 22, as long as it hasn't hit that yet.
Right.
Now, earlier I was talking about one of my videos of trading with the OG. He uses this all the time, and what he ends up doing is he'll take this and he'll find what price he bought at. He'll take that coin, so say he bought a bunch of Bitcoin at 30,000. He'll go and he'll then start like an infinity grid or a standard grid, and he'll go and so he bought it, we'll say at 30,000. He'll start his lowest price at 34, and he'll just sit on it until it at least hits 34,000. So he's already made profit as soon as his grids start.
Yep.
Yeah. So he said that, and I was like, wait a minute, hold up. And I had to really wrap my brain around that, but that was a really, really cool thing for me to see.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. It's a good idea.
Yeah. DCA.
You all know what DCA is.
This is not necessary.
They better. That's what
Yeah,
we are.
this is not the DCA that I'm familiar with necessarily. And you know, so I'll ask you, what's DCA for you?
Dollar cost averaging the same amount of money around the same time. So like for me, I dollar cost average into Bitcoin every Sunday at a certain time period. I'm not going to be specific on everything, but yes, I use the same amount of money. I buy the same amount of Bitcoin the same time every Sunday, no matter what the price is or what it's doing.
Okay, so I've always heard of DCA as being your dollar cost averaging down. So I've always say I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but I think it's going to dip some. So I might put I'll put $100 in at 39, $100 in at 38, $100 in at 37. And so it's going to lower my average cost down.
Yes.
That's always been my understanding of
yes.
it.
Yes, and it works like that. Big thing, like that's sweet to do for personal bags, if you...
Yeah.
But a big, where it came from big time with in cryptocurrency is Phemex leverage trading and people trying to dollar cost average into a losing position, and then they keep... And that's like a big no-no. Know when to cut your loss. Obviously, leverage and spot trading are completely different. But yes, I dollar cost average. But I do it in a way of, it doesn't matter. I'm not worried about the price because I believe in Bitcoin to the point where I don't care what it is, as long as I'm snatching up that amount, the same amount every week.
Sure.
But yes, if you're very conscious about the price and stuff, you can time it up to where you're dollar cost averaging on the dips, so that way you're constantly getting a better average buy-in. Absolutely.
So, same thing. you know, you could do every 10 minutes, every 1 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour, 12 hour, daily, weekly, monthly, and then you have your.
That's pretty cool.
Your amounts. And then, like I said, this one is for, and I forget what time, I forget what that actual bot's name is, but you can either buy or sell. That's this, like I said, I think at the beginning, this is like to hide big orders. So if you're getting ready to drop, you know, an insane amount, like right now I could do something with $82 ish. I'm not going to, because it's not really that big of amount. Some people it's really large, but this is more for like whales, like people who are really going to move the market, who really don't want to move the market. They may want to just hide that, or you know, kind of keep it low key.
All right.
That's all the bots.
Heck yeah, man, that's awesome. And then obviously you don't have to use the bot, right? If you want to just go in and manually trade and just buy something
right
to hold,
yep,
you can do that as well. Basic functions, limit, market, and advanced, where you can do. Is there conditional market orders on here on the manual side where it can be a market limit in a way? You don't actually have to, because like I hate using limit orders on my exits and my take profits and my stop losses, only because an extreme price trading and price action, limit orders get blown by on the order book and they can be left in the dust, where if you're using a stop loss that's a limit order, you could potentially get screwed. As to where you could put a conditional market order in, where you're saying, okay, so if it hits this price, I want you to put a market order in to get me out of the trade, and it's safer. It's, you know, no matter what, it's going to work.
So I don't think that necessarily works like that. I just ended up trying to
advanced grid buy, advanced grid sell. That's pretty slick.
Yeah, so I think those are like, if you're holding it, you can end up getting in and trying to do some of those, kind of like what I was talking about earlier. If you end up dropping down and you do a trailing buy, and then you can end up getting in, or a trailing sell. But yeah, I'm not sure about the whole market order. I think it's just a limit order or a stop loss. I think it just cuts it. Decost, yes, we kind of talked about, we did talk about a margin bot. I kind of talked about it fairly quickly because I don't think that they are available to everyone. I can jump back real quick though.
Crypto Technology says, no whale here, I'm more of a seahorse. That one guy, I was thinking I'm just a minnow. It's alright, boys, keep eating. Keep eating. And get bigger.
So, where we at? Decost. So, yeah. I'm not sure. I think that if you're loaning it, instead you loaned it, I think that you have to wait for that. I think it's every hour that it gives you your money or your interest. So if you were to go up and go to your history, I think you should be able to end up seeing some of that stuff there. You should be able to see your history there.
Crypto Technology, there is tons and tons of assets on here. I mean, there's everything you could think of. I mean, there really is. Not all of them can you use leverage and margin, but there's quite a few. So like here you got your ETH 5x. Now obviously this is going to be, these ones are going to be your long tokens or your bullish sideways GridBot, right? Because then you would have an ETH 2XL or an ETH 3XL, and then the ETH 3 short, 2 short, instead of just the 5x, right? Because this is This is just for up right now is what we're looking at, correct?
So what I'll do is I'll do like, we'll say I'll trade this Doge. I hate this coin. I hate this coin. I know a lot of people love it, but I'm just, I can't get a feel for it. It's too unpredictable, and it stresses me out. So if I go to margin or leverage, it'll tell me this current pair doesn't support leverage or margin grid.
And then it'll
so
give you
these are the ones. These are the ones. So I got Bitcoin up here, and then these are the ones that I can actually use true margin with. Now, I know a lot of people so you can also go to this area where, and again, it's one of those where it's kind of weird. You can go to leverage, and then you can end up going, I'll go to pair. So here we go. I got 1S, I got 3S, I got a 3L, I got that's dot. So I could trade those, and those are going to be a type of leverage, but
So,
it is
like,
not.
that Doge 1S
It's
would be
not a true.
right. So Doge
Yeah,
1S is Doge 1X leverage short. Then you got below that
Correct.
Doge 3X leverage short. Then below that you got Doge 3X leverage long. Long and short, guys. Short means you're betting on asset to go down. Long means you're betting on asset to go up. Like I said in the beginning, if you don't know what leverage is and shit, stay the hell away from these tokens. But as you can see, they're different prices. Doge isn't at $3.53 right now, like it's showing on the Doge 3 long.
And that's the thing. I'm not gonna call anybody out here, but I had somebody who was like, I don't understand the leverage tokens. How do you even chart those? You remember that?
Yep.
And I was like, you don't chart them. So if you're like trying to chart these, don't do it. What you do is you chart the actual coin. So you go chart Doge, and then you look at what you want to do. So if you feel like Doge is getting ready to go up, then you go with the 3L. When it gets into your buy zone, you go with the 3L. You don't try to chart and snatch up Doge 3L, because Doge 3L is in your chart or in your zone. You go to the actual main Doge USDT and you chart that. And when that one, you think it's going to go up, then that's when you go to the 3L and use that leverage. Or if you think this one, the main one, is going to end up going down, that's when you go to the 3S.
And remember, guys, these are tokens. So every grid bot you start, at the end of the day, when you take your profit and shut your bot off, you're going to be left with dust. So you will actually be holding Doge 3S tokens. Be aware of that. There is a dust collector converter in the options where you can go in and convert all your dust back into USDT or Bitcoin or whatever you want. So why, with the referral program, they need to update that. I noticed they're still giving Bub for the Bit Universe app. I have quite a few of them. Can't do anything with them.
Correct.
I imagine that they'll eventually get something going. It was cool being able to use Bit Universe and do all that through the phone, and I love trading. I miss trading on the regular. Had to take a break for my B-Chain dev courses, but just finished my classes. Super excited to trade again. Hell yeah, that's awesome. Also use the DCA or Crypto Mentors tools. That's right, Oz. That's right, buddy. The trading scripts, not that we ever want you guys to rely on those, but they definitely give you a great edge against the market, making educated decisions. I can finally code my own exchange now. Well, you better be getting on it, buddy. Be getting on it. We need bots, we need smart trades, we need all kinds of good stuff in there.
My thing is, I really want a one triggers another, like where you can do it almost kind of like stocks, because I know that the exchange or the broker I used, you could set up like multiple chains So you can have like, I can't even explain. Like,
it was probably just a bunch of conditional orders, and you can set everything up to where, okay, so if I buy this and then it ends up getting this and sells it and then falls back to this, I want you to buy again, and be able to set it up to be trading for you for months.
Yeah.
How do we see Bitcoin support? Well, if you guys want to, you can stop your screen share and I'll screen share, and we'll chart a little bit of Bitcoin before we jump off here. We've been on for a bit over an hour. We like to usually keep these around an hour, but if you want to hang out for a little bit, and we'll chart some Bitcoin and, and then call her a night. But we'll share my screen here. Let me make sure I'm on the right one.
That one guy, Oz, I have no idea about rebalancing bots, man. I haven't played with those. I do know that there's
a
lot
new
of
feature, right?
Yeah. So my understanding right now, it's only 2 bots, and my understanding is in the future you can put up to. You only have the ability to put 2 coins in, and in the future, my understanding in the future, you're going to be able to end up putting up to 10 in. So you could have 10 different coins, and it's all going to be jumbled together, rebalancing everything. Right now, I think the reason why it's not really doing a whole lot is because a lot of people are saying, hey, I want to rebalance it with Bitcoin, whatever they may be holding. And Bitcoin has, it's hit 30-ish, and it's kind of stopped for a little bit, and it's just kind of chilling. It like today, it went way up, but there's not a whole lot of rebalancing if nothing's moving.
All right. Let's see here. We'll show it on your next video, DCA Adventure. We'll show what, brother? I must have missed the top of it, or... So on Bitcoin, guys, I'm sure you guys are looking at this chart right here, but oh boy, do we got it coming up. I said this on last Sunday's video to make sure we're paying attention. We're looking at this death cross. I've said it for the last 3 weeks. We have the 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average converging in on each other. What happens when we get these bearish crossovers of the moving averages? We know what happens, guys. We're usually getting the pumps before the dumps. What are we doing right now? We're pumping. Pumping. So would not surprise me to test this 200-day moving average and bounce right off of it and reject. There you go, my love. We're drawing a box of resistance here, but you guys got to be watching this 200-day, this death cross. Death crosses happen on the daily with the 50, 200-day moving average. One of the biggest Bitcoin short sell trades I ever made was on the death cross back in 2018. So that's when bear market started, and that's when it's official in my opinion. But it's definitely getting close, guys. We're getting close. We draw this box of resistance in. Old support turns into new resistance. And if you look, our moving averages are lining up exactly with the resistance. So very, very good possibility that we reject somewhere in this box. Probably float around, bounce around here for a little bit until these moving averages do make the cross. If you are in the Patreon group, you do have the DCA moving average trading script where it is going to alert you when the cross happens. Be frosty, be watching this, you guys. It's made a nice little floor here on the daily chart. So, hopefully I'm wrong, and hopefully this is a fake out, and this moving average, they just bounce off of each other and they don't even make a cross. That would be, in theory, what we'd want to see right now. The DCA oscillator is looking pretty good. It's got we got all kinds of room where we could go up on it. Man, why did it get so big? Hang on here.
Clicked on it.
It's hiding my thing. Where's that? I gotta move our pictures. See, my hovers won't even pop up now. What in the hell?
Oh, it added it to your chart.
Yeah. Let me take that off. Boom. Now we'll re-put it on there and hopefully it'll fix itself. I hate when I click on something that I don't know what I clicked. I just accidentally clicked and then I can't fix it. Nope, it did it again. Oh no, it fixed it. So yeah, we are down here. VWAP is way above 0 on the daily, so that's very good. It's a good sign. Momentum is making its way up. You do see we did have a bearish or a bullish divergence here that the oscillator printed. So you guys, you know, possible dump though. I just want you to be very careful here. We do have this big area of resistance up here that we're gonna have to test multiple times, I believe, to get through it. Bullish divergence decost. I misspoke. Sorry, buddy. Green lines are the bullish divergence. When you get the red ones on top, these are your bearish. In a lot of these, you don't even have to see the line print. So like from this momentum wave to this momentum wave, we know is a divergence because this one is smaller than this one. This one was almost like a double top. You could have read that as a double top on your oscillator and went short on the top of here. Multiple ways to trade and read this script. But I would definitely be watching for a reversal here, and we're possibly making a head and shoulders. That's another thing to keep in mind too. Again, I've seen these a million times with Bitcoin and other cryptos. They don't always play out as expected. Normally head and shoulders are bearish, but I've seen them pump like crazy and not dump when you think they're going to dump. And actually, what the hell was that? I don't even think we were on Bitcoin. We were on some other weird shit, but the chart's pretty much the same. So be looking for a rejection right around 42,200 area-ish. I'm going to say we're probably going to bounce off that 200-day moving average. Flip over to the weekly. Weekly chart is still bullish. Moving averages are set up the way that we need them to be set up to trade. Bounced off the 50-week moving average couple times. So you guys in the Patreon group, you know how we trade these. Every time we test it, we're going to take the long buy. That's where you want to take your longs. Consolidation time till July. We have a nice run to previous resistance around 47, 48K, then come back down to gain support around 40K. But I feel like ETH is going to be the move for this summer, as well as Matic and Helium, of course. Oh, you like Helium, do you? Helium's alright. We got momentum on the weekly. DCA oscillator is starting to bend around, so we have all kinds of room where we could go up and all kinds of room we could go down. It's kind of right in the middle there, guys. SLP and ETH has kept a very good trading pattern. Alright, we can check that out. This 21-week moving average, though, is sitting right around 48K. That's 48,899, 48,900. That's right around that area of resistance crypto technology that you were just talking about. So very possible we go up there. We're going to have to test that area quite a few times to break. We want to see it break, and then obviously we want to see it close above that resistance area, come back, validate our support before we look for the next leg up. But man, that just looks, the fucking head and shoulders on this thing, you guys, just crazy to me how textbook it is. Sorry for my crayon drawing. That's what it is. That's what it is. Let's take a look at Ethereum real quick. Ethereum riding that 21-week moving average. If you'd have bought every time we were down there, you guys are sitting freaking pretty right now. Every time we test, we're getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Eventually, this is going to fall out. This is not that big of an area of support, so this is definitely getting weaker, you guys. Every time we're testing, we're plucking out buyers, plucking out buyers. Eventually, no more buyers. What happens? Floor falls out. Then you're going to be looking for your next area of support. And we're looking right around 1,540 area down to the 50-week at 1,266 would be where my money is at trading this. Big time bearish divergence up here on the top. If you would have traded this, divergence posted here at this red candle closing. So if you would have got in, you would have been sitting pretty on that as well. Going over onto the daily for Ethereum. Not looking good. It is bearish. Did get the 2150 bearish crossover, and we are testing the 21-day as resistance right now. Same with Bitcoin. We've been riding up and down on that 21. These are not set up the way we want to trade them. So even though we are acting as resistance, I wouldn't necessarily be taking a short trade here. We like to see the 21 and 50 switched. We want to see the purple above the blue before we take trades. Oscillator did print a small buy signal down here. We did have the orange momentum wave. It cut into the blue. That's our confirmation when we need to buy, and that was right down here. And you guys can kind of see it was almost a doji candle. So when we get these daily dumps and you get a good dump like this at the bottom, this is where we're looking for these dojis. That is indecisive in the market. Typically means reversal. I have over 20 helium hotspots coming in. I have 2 online right now. I made my ROI in 5 days. Hell yeah, man. DCOS and his brother, really good friends of mine. They're pretty big on the helium. They've been doing it for a long time. They're OGs with the helium stuff. Earnings just not there anymore. That's not good, DCOS, but I know they was for you there for a while. You guys are making stupid money. Stupid money. Let's look at Litecoin real fast before we go. Litecoin looking like shit. Got the bearish cross up here, 1521, and then got another cross over here, 21 and 200 day. Not looking good for Litecoin. Building a huge floor of resistance, you guys. Huge floor of resistance. It's going to take quite a while. It's a pretty big area. It's going to take a lot of volume to get up through that. Look at the weekly. Weekly still a pretty bullish chart. Tested that 50-week moving average. Take your long buy there. Boom. You'd be sitting great still. I'd probably be looking for profits there right now. I guess 100 units have just screwed us. Damn. Yeah, placement is key, man. I've been seeing so many millions of miners are going to be coming online here in the next couple months. So where I'm at, helium is I've never got good earnings, so it doesn't really matter to me what it's doing. I have 2 units, 2 running. But alright guys, that's all we have for tonight. It's getting late. I know it's real late for GridBot, right? You're in a different time zone than I am.
I am.
I'm sure you're tired. But hey man, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No problem, not at all. You guys go to his YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. All of his Twitter, his Instagram, all that stuff is posted in the link below, so go check him out there. Give him a join, subscribe to him. And he will be in the Discord, so if you guys need any help, anything like that, he is always around. He is going to be making videos for the scripts that we make and for AstroPark scripts, so that'll be pretty cool. Definitely keep an eye out for those. And by all means, man, when you're making videos for this kind of stuff, post them in my Discord and let everybody know so we can keep track of you.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, brother. But you guys have any questions or anything before we jump off here? Any questions for GridBot? Thanks, Crypto Technology. Appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, only 5 mil HNT is given out per day, so more miners, the less you get. Yeah, that is... And there is millions of them coming, so I mean that does suck, especially for you guys that were killing it. We're killing it. I know, my buddies, they got over 100 units, and they were freaking making $12,000, $13,000, $14,000 a month off these things. So hey, maybe you guys should think about selling them bitches on eBay. Sell them on eBay. But alright guys, before we go, if you want to get your hands on some of the best cryptocurrency merchandise, you got to head over to dojlord.com. Not just saying it, but he does have the best quality merch. I've got crypto merch from tons and tons of different places, and this is the place to get it. All right, guys. Everybody have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good work week next week. Remember what I said about Bitcoin. Be watching them daily and weekly charts. I'll see you guys all in the Discord.